Hey, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. I am here. It was my birthday. I feel much better. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice. I feel much, much better. It was brutal. Brutality. And I did have some work done, not any plastic surgery or anything like that, but I am doing a lot of self-discovery and self-evolution work. I love it. It's one of my favorite things to do, to grow, to be honest about the attributes I have that aren't the greatest, and to learn how to become a better person. You know, I don't want to repeat bad habits. I don't want to repeat bad patterns. And there are aspects of my parents, I'm sure, that are negative, that were imprinted on me. We all have that. We all got lucky, you know, a couple day drinking parents trying their best. Affects everybody. My parents were great. Were they perfect? No. So I like to dust off the cobwebs of their residual parental attempts that maybe were a swing and a miss. And in that endeavor, it involves, acupuncture, times in nature, seeking out mentors, journaling, meditation. All of these things sort of make up the recipe to my self-evolution, if you will, as much as it probably is a little cringy to hear someone say that. But hey, you know what? I'm all about growth. So if that makes you feel cringe, maybe you have some growing to do. How about that? Like, cash me outside. Cash my bad habits outside, kicking them out of the house. So with all that said, I also hired a couple people who do a little bit more aggressive work with people looking to break through, as they say. And there's a couple aspects of myself I'm breaking through to get onto the other side of adulthood. And I think, honestly, with this birthday, 42 years old, thank you so much. I couldn't have done it without you. On this 42nd birthday, without my parents, there's a lot of struggles and obstacles that I've had to overcome, and realizing who I am on the other side of having parents. It's a strange place to be. So we're going to talk about all that today. I'm going to talk about my birthday, and you're not going to believe what happened to me when I went out to dinner with my man. It's crazy. We'll get to that at the end of the podcast. But before, help me out. Subscribe to this page, the YouTube page, if you're watching the video. Click like, thumbs up the video for me. That helps so much. And if you're listening, can you rate the podcast? However you can do that. On Apple iTunes, you can rate us. I only want 5 stars. I want the greatest. I want the highest. I want the best. And if you want to be a part of the podcast, you can call us. 513-916-0930. A combo of my birthday and my father's birthday. Give us a call. Leave me a voicemail. Shoot me a text. We can play that on the podcast as well. Also, if you want the exclusive video that includes this entire video from the beginning to the end, it's just me rambling. It's a lot of fun, and a bunch of other exclusive content. Go to patreon.com/Jessimae Peluso and get that. And as well as supporting me, you can do that by buying merch on my store. The store is open, and also coming to see me live. My fall tour is up. All the tickets are up, I believe. I will be making a bunch of stops: Omaha, Nebraska, Rochester, Springfield, Massachusetts, Syracuse, New York, Boston, Massachusetts, Las Vegas, Nevada, a couple other dates, jessimae.com. A portion of my ticket sales and a portion of my merch sales goes towards the Alzheimer's Association and Hilarity for Charity. So thank you so much ahead of time. I'm going to try to not cough through this entire episode. I've been doing okay. I've been doing great. It was my birthday. September 16th, I share that birthday with B.B. King. Amazing musician. R.I.P. I think he must be dead, right? Everyone's dead. David Copperfield, that famous magician. A couple others. Mickey Rourke celebrates his birthday today. Well, not today. It isn't today. It's past, but on September 16th. And it's also National Guacamole Day. So I feel honored to be amongst such celebrities and A-listers. What an upper echelon list to be included with. I wanted to see other famous people who share the birthday of September 16th with me. So let's go through a list. Chase Stokes, have no idea who that is. His face, he looks like one of those people who believe that they're half alien. The Palladians, I think they are. Sienna Fizz, she's a 13-year-old YouTube star. Anthony Padilla, another YouTube star. So far, I'm the most famous person on this birthday list. Alexis Bledel, she's an actress. I kind of recognize her from some stuff. Jennifer Tilly, okay. Flo Rida, all right. Still the most famous person. I'm just kidding. Amy Poehler, heyo. Mark Antony. He's so little. He's just a little fella. I don't get it. I don't know how J-Lo went that low. Maybe that's why her name is Low. She was like, I'm going to stick with the last name and pick this little fella. Luna, she's a 50-year-old pop star. No one's heard of her. Is she some Icelandic pop star? If she is, I'm going to buy her album. I don't even care if it's good. Everything out of Iceland is amazing. Ed Begley Jr., he's an actor who's been in a bunch of stuff. I don't know who any of these people are. Okay, B.B. King. We got Jackie Young. She's a basketball player. I've heard of Jackie Young. We've got Richard Marx, pop singer. Looks like a divorce attorney in this photo. We've got Molly Shannon. There we go. David Copperfield is there. Tamron Hall. I know her. She's a TV show host. I think her and I have actually done an interview together. So, a mixed bag, as they say, of celebrities who share their birthday with me, September 16th. It also made me want to look up traits. I don't know if you guys are into like your horoscope or if you follow it or believe it. I believe it, but I think a lot of the traits are applicable to all of us at some point in our life from every horoscope. But, believing is an important part of being a human being. We need belief. We need belief in something greater than ourselves, even if it's a horoscope. It keeps us grounded. It makes us feel like we're not just floating out into the ether and drifting off and nothing matters. We need things to matter. So I'm here for a little Virgo personality trait. Here's some Virgo woman personality traits. I feel like that sentence is inaccurate. See, there's a part of my mom, little aspect of Nancy still stuck in me. Perfectionism and criticism. I'm criticizing the horoscope list. I feel like it should say female Virgo personality traits, but this says Virgo woman personality traits. Either way, apples and oranges. Overthink a lot? Well, we just saw that on display in real time. The second one is picky. She lacks tolerance for incompetence. I love that I just highlighted their first 3 personality traits. Helpful. Also, I feel like what I just did was helpful for the person who created this list. She always thinks things through. Attention to detail. Thank you. So far, I'm nailing it. I've never aced a test so hard in my life. Intelligence, yes. Organized and detail-oriented to a fault. The level of organization is exhausting to maintain, and I can't do anything other than that. I don't know if there's any other Virgos out there that are like, oh, a messy house to me creates a messy life, a messy attitude, a messy mental process. Clean home, clean mind is how I live my life. Not feng shui because I have too many things in my place. I believe feng shui is a little bit more of a minimalistic lifestyle, and it's definitely rooted in a clearer dwelling. And I definitely have stuff, but not a lot of stuff. Look at me defending myself. Reliable. I'm reliable. She's a perfectionist. We already know that. We already know that perfectionism it's a handicap. Perfectionism can be a real handicap. And it's something that I think a lot of people with ADHD struggle with. ADD, perfectionism is and can be very castrating to your creativity. It's also beneficial to cleanliness. And I don't know what else. My car is super clean. My house is always neat and clean. So there is a benefit to being a perfectionist, but I think as a creative, it can be very stunting. So you got to find that balance. Difficult to love. For sure, I'm difficult to love. Absolutely. That should be on the top of the list. I almost choked on my coconut. My coconut water is trying to love me, and I'm like, nope. Definitely difficult to love. And I think that comes from a lot of different things. I think it comes from a place of being a perfectionist. So if you want to love me, well, you better do it perfectly. If you don't love me perfectly, then you don't love me. Hello? Perfectionism 101. Figure it out. It's a constant riddle. And just when you think you've got it figured out, you didn't love me enough. Modest? Yeah, I think I am, actually. I'm definitely more modest than most people in my life. A worrier? For sure, I'm a worrier. But I think that's a part of being a woman in general. Aren't we always worried all the time? I mean, something's trying to either kill us, rape us, touch us, lick us, snatch us up every day. So yeah, we're all a little worried. That's just a part of being a woman. Critical, we already know that. We already know I'm a little critical. Not trying to hide that. It's a Nancy trait for sure. A problem solver, absolutely. I love solving problems. It's one of my, probably a modus operandi. It's definitely a default mode for me and can be annoying. Because I think I sometimes will offer up advice that people didn't even ask for. No one asked for my advice. Sometimes we offer it up and it's not necessary. So shut your mouth. Patient? Absolutely not. There's the first one I don't agree with. I am not patient. Maybe I'll act patient, but there's no part of me that is calm when it comes to waiting for things. But I've definitely curbed my reaction to my impatience. Hardworking, yeah, to a fault. I need to learn how to sit down. Anyone who gets to know me on a deep personal level always tells me to sit down. One of my longtime best friends and former roommate, Leo Flowers, I've mentioned this on the pod before, always would say, Peluso, you need to sit your ass down. My man just said that to me. He goes, you need to sit down. I rarely sit still. And that's why I knew I was really sick this past couple weeks, because I sat down. And maybe that's why I got sick. It's interesting when you think about that, when you think about the why of things. You know, not to get too deep into it, but things happen, sometimes for a reason, sometimes very randomly for no reason at all. And maybe I got sick because I really needed to sit. I also think the flu is a form of purging. And to follow up what I was talking about in the beginning of the pod about this journey I'm on to self-evolution and healing and dealing with the ways I hold myself back. I do think that on the heels of me going through this, I don't want to call it a ceremony because it wasn't like that. The healing work that I've done with this couple that do it professionally, and they have a lot of clients and high functioning professionals that they work with, and they deal with people who are pretty successful and a wide range of people. But after working with them, I had this week of extreme clarity and exuberant feeling and feeling very in tuned and clear. And then I got very sick and I hadn't gone out anywhere. So part of me kind of thinks that this was a purge. Not like the movie, but maybe like the movie. Maybe my body was like, you know what? We're going to force you into a purge because we don't know how else to make change. And we think that this is the way to balance the rest of your body out. You know, like the movie Purge. One day a year, we're going to get wild. And we're going to get wild, and some people are going to die. Some people are going to get really sick. Some people it's going to take them a while to heal. So I think my body went through a purge after going through this healing process, and it's a part of the process I'm on because it was brutal, and it made me sit my ass down. So hard working can work against you. Being a hard worker can definitely work against you. It can break you down. So I agree with the hardworking one. It also says I'm a human lie detector. Absolutely. I know when you're lying. I know when you're about to lie. I know when you're thinking about lying to me. I know when you've already lied, and I know when you're trying to cover up your lie. I can tell. And I don't know where that comes from. I don't know if it's a Virgo. I don't know if it's being a Sicilian. I don't know if it's growing up with a bunch of different families around, but I can tell. Easily annoyed? I don't think so. Maybe now in my mature age, I get annoyed by different things. I don't know if you guys do. You find yourself being Clint Eastwood, a little get off my lawn energy. Talked about it before. I feel that creeping in. I feel the grimace starting to take up residency on my face. Just my face is starting to curl like these goddamn whippersnappers. And I'm still young. So it's the easily annoyed I'm trying to curb. We don't want that to creep in too soon. This says pessimistic. No, definitely not naturally pessimistic. That's not my, autopilot. I don't function on that naturally. Analytical. Absolutely. Fussy. Yeah, I guess I could be a little fussy, but I think that for the most part, I'm not. It also says kind. I think I'm kind. I know people have told me that I'm a kind person, and I grew up being raised by kind parents. So yeah, sure, I'm kind. I'll take that. It's a little boring, but whatever. It's a little boring. Here I am still being critical. So it was my birthday. I asked the fans, let's go do a little Maybe mail. I asked the fans a question. I asked them what was the worst birthday gift they ever got. That was something I wanted for my birthday, for people to tell me what was the worst thing they ever received. A few of you responded. Tommy McCream, Too Tall Tommy, says, the answer is a Mexican bootleg Thundercats from my shady uncle. There's a lot to unpack there, fella. I do remember the Thundercats, but I wasn't into it. I feel like it was more of a man-boy thing. A little bit more of a boy toy. But he included a photo of it, and it definitely looks like something you get at a gas station. But the shady uncle? Gosh, I want to know why he was shady. Do we even go into that? Another person responded, this is Darth Benzo, a cancer diagnosis. I said, damn, Benzo. I hope you healed. And who gave you that for your birthday? That's a worst birthday gift ever. I don't think anyone could probably top that. That's brutal. Ian Burns, one of my OG fans, says, happy birthday. Hope you had a lovely day. He didn't answer the question. He didn't need to. He's like, I'm just here to spread love. Brian M. Scott, also known as Old Salty Sack. Jesus. Plastic Linkin Park salt and pepper shakers. I couldn't name a single Linkin Park song. That's when I knew how she felt about me. The feeling was mutual. I said, who gave those to you? He responded, a mother-in-law. It's got to be, if it was something you didn't want, and not only do you not want it, but it has nothing to do with anything you like, it's got to be a mother-in-law gift. Someone who really doesn't like you. He says, mother-in-law, same year, she gifted me a fake marble office desk set, pen holder, Scotch tape cover, and an In-N-Out mailbox tray. At the time, I didn't have an office or a desk. That's hilarious. An old ex-friend, dumb bitch, this is what they said, gave me a glass pipe and a weed stash container that looked like a Coca-Cola can. You like weed, right? I barely smoked weed and never been a stoner type. I gave her exactly what she hinted at wanting a month before and nailed it. She stunk. I said maybe she wanted you to stash her heart in the can. I'm just trying to be an optimistic person here. And then I said also probably not. It's kind of rude to get someone something that they don't even use. Like, do a little research. Do a little research. How hard is it? Everyone's information's online right now. You could Google. Go to their Instagram page. Scroll down. Food. Who doesn't like food? Everyone loves food. It's our favorite. And if you don't, well, we got to look into that. But for the most part, a gift certificate, maybe to a restaurant that a lot of people like. Hell, a Marshall's gift certificate. If they can't find something at Marshall's, they don't deserve to have a birthday. Ryan says, happy birthday, probably an empty birthday card. Damn. That sounds like a mistake. If not, That's not a gift. That feels like a threat. Feels like an empty threat. Literally. You can't even just write happy birthday? Also, who buys a blank birthday card? How boring and cheap are you? Spend the extra 75 cents and get a sentence in there. Hello? I can't even get like a generic sentence inside the card that you didn't even have to write. It was typed there for you. That person does not like you, Ryan. I hate to tell you. You probably already know that. Another person said a 3-piece set. And I said, of what? Maybe it's because most things should come in pairs, like a 4-piece set. But then see, I'm optimistic. You got a 2-piece set and an extra one in case one of them break. Also, a 3-piece set works really great for a corner. I don't even know what it is of. What if it's a 3-piece set of sandwiches? Hello, we've got a party. Party for 2, a great party for 1, or a party for 3. Daniel says, happy birthday and toothpaste. No, never do I want toothpaste for my birthday because you're telling me I have bad breath. Daniel, I hate to tell you this, but someone is doing a very roundabout way of letting you know that your breath stinks. So maybe that was a great birthday gift. Let's look into it. Let's cup, let's breathe, let's figure out our hygiene. If that's not the case, someone doesn't love you. Oliviero, Joe. He says you not coming to Buffalo or Niagara. I agree. That's a bad birthday gift. But I will be in Rochester. Realize it's not that close to Buffalo, but it's also not that far away. And also Syracuse. Make the drive. Wednesday before Thanksgiving. Come party with me. Andrew Jenkins, one of my favorite OGs. He says, happy birthday, Jessimae, and socks still makes me mad. Socks is the least form of effort ever. Imagine getting socks and a blank birthday card. Why'd you even leave the house? You could have just called me and said, fuck you, and hung up. No effort? I don't have time for no effort. At least try a little bit. Damn. Let me feel like you care. And at least be direct if you don't. Let's not pussyfoot around it. If you're going to buy me a blank card, just write fuck you on the inside. And I'd be like, thank you for your honesty. I really appreciate this. I also got another message from a fella whose name I'm going to omit because I'm not sure if he wants me to mention him or not. But this felt like a gift for me, a birthday gift for me that I received early. He says, hi, Jessimae. I recently decided to catch up with the Honeydew podcast, and I came across your chat with Ryan about your dad. And before I read the rest of this message, I wanted to read this one because my dad and I were supposed to share a birthday. I was born 2 weeks early. I was supposed to be born on September 30th. That was my father's birthday. And if you've listened to this podcast for years, he was my first guest on this podcast. My best friend, very close, a great father, not perfect, but I never felt unloved. And he's passed away. And so I have spoken very openly about his struggle with Alzheimer's disease and how much it hurt and how hard it was. And so people will often reach out to me, and when they've heard me on different podcasts or listened to episodes where I discuss that, they reach out because they connect with it. So this is what this gentleman is referring to when I was on the Honeydew podcast. I'll get back to his message. I have to say, listening to what you had to say about your father has been easily the most impactful thing I've encountered since my dad's dementia journey began. I took notes about a podcast. I've never done that. So I just wanted to say thanks for sharing. I live with my father, and we've had our best week in a long time since I listened to the pod. I'm learning to let it be his world, and right now we're listening to old music he loves. I haven't listened to your comedy, but I will. Thank you, Jessimae. It makes me think about how hard it was with my dad and how important it is to share what we're going through as people. It's how we learn. And so it made me very grateful that something I said helps somebody else deal with what they're struggling with. And I wanted to share this message because essentially my dad's birthday should be my birthday. And the other crazy thing is that one of my sisters shares a birthday with my father. So had I not come out early, It's the only time I've ever been early for anything, by the way. Had I not come out early, I would have been on the 30th, my sister would have been on the 30th, and my father would have been on the 30th. So I think that's really wild. And anyone out there struggling with Alzheimer's, there are a couple episodes on my podcast, but you should listen to the Honeydew episode as well with Ryan Sickler. And I talk about going through my father's dementia. It is a frustrating journey to go through because it's literally a roller coaster that's not going to stop. And eventually it'll stop, but it's a one-way situation where there's no cure right now. And I do feel that this is something that we will discover a really preventable lifestyle and a preventable solution for. And I really hope we do. There's a lot of information out there and a lot of research and science indicating ways to adjust your lifestyle to prevent a lot of those, I don't want to say biomarkers, but a lot of those things that can be a little bit more like a cause of the disease. A stressful lifestyle, getting rest and sleep and dietary adjustments, social adjustments. There's so many ways to live now that maintains a healthy brain. And we know that. I mean, we should. There's a lot of research out there. So it just makes me feel really joyful that this is something that has helped you in such a hard time. And that's what he said. He goes, I'm learning to let it be his world. And right now we're listening to old music he loves. My father couldn't speak. And, I talk about this very publicly, and I have spoken about this very publicly. He couldn't communicate with us, but when we played music, he would sing the song. And that was something I learned from researching. And music has this amazing ability to activate all parts of our brain. That's what my understanding is that when we listen to music, every part of our brain is activated. And there's very few things that do that, or a handful of things, I should say. And I'm not a doctor. I don't claim to know all of this. I don't claim to be somebody who knows everything about the situation, but I went through it, and my sisters and I had to learn different things about life that we had not known prior to experiencing this with my father. So music is such a great tool for anyone dealing with dementia. It is a way to, quote unquote, communicate with them. It may not be the way you want to communicate, but there is a connection that happens. And that's another important thing when you're going through this disease. Your idea of things are no longer on the table. How you think things should be, and if you try to force that, that will be something that causes more stress, more tension, and more frustration going through this dementia journey that you're embarking on. Because it is their world as you know it now. It's almost like becoming a parent. And I'm not a parent, so I'm speaking just sort of making a parallel here, drawing a parallel. When you have a kid, everyone says your world completely changes. Well, when you have an adult who has dementia, your world completely changes. And ironically, they become a lot like children. And so however you've been doing things, that has to adjust in order for you to survive this freaking roller coaster. And you have to let it be their world as you know it. They say some crazy stuff, you go along with it. Take an improv class. It'll help you be more playful. And I suggest you get playful. You got to get real playful with somebody with dementia. Treat them like a child, not in a condescending way, in a playful way. Children are so by the minute. They are driven purely by emotion and completely disconnected at times because they don't have the information or resources to understand what they're doing, a lot like dementia patients. And so if you treat them like children with respect and dignity, it becomes a lot easier. Kids love music. So do dementia patients. Kids love talking. So do dementia patients, for the most part. You can benefit from redirecting a child's attention when they're frustrated. Same thing with dementia patients. And the same way you wouldn't challenge a kid in a way that you know they don't know something, you wouldn't do that with a dementia patient. Or you might do that because you're ignorant, and that's okay. What I'm referring to is when you're with someone who has Alzheimer's or dementia and it's a memory issue, when you ask them, do you remember when? They don't. So there's a better way to reminisce, and that's the operative word, with someone with dementia. Reminisce with them. Don't say, do you remember when? Because you're forcing them to think about something they don't have access to. They're not able to remember. Their memory literally is being depleted every day, little by little. It's being stolen by this disease. So it's better to show photos and let them sort of say what they want to say. And the one difference is you have to correct children because they'll injure themselves. You don't necessarily have to correct dementia patients. It's not important. It's more for you. And you're probably trying to control the situation and you feel a lack of control because you know you have no control. So you're trying to control it even more. Let go. Learn to let it be their world and play some music. And I hope that's helpful. And thank you to this fan for reaching out to me. I told you at the beginning of the podcast, you're not going to believe what happened to me at a restaurant. I'll do one overheard as well. There was an overheard and it was from me on my birthday. Actually, it was from my man in reference to me on my birthday. And the overheard, if you haven't submitted your overheards, guys, send them to me. It's a non sequitur you hear. I don't want it to be your conversation. It should be an external conversation. You're passing by. Maybe you're in a grocery store. You're walking by somebody. Just a line you hear. You know, we walk through life and sometimes you overhear a conversation. You're like, what was that about? Send me those. Jessimae Peluso comedy@gmail.com. I want to hear your overheards. So the overheard from my man on my birthday was, you are so obsessed with butts today. He wasn't wrong. Is it the worst thing? Is that so bad to be obsessed with butts? Sometimes they make weird noises. Sometimes they're cute. Sometimes they're not even there. They're a mystery. So yeah, I was obsessed with butts that day. Okay. Don't be mad at it. Don't be mad at it. Well, before we get to what happened at my dinner, there was this article in the New York Times, and it's a fine dining department, and it says surround sound. So this article about these, a chef and a couple other collaborators, musicians, getting together to create a soundtrack for the restaurant. I just thought, oh my God, this is so entitled and unnecessary, especially when I learned what type of sound they wanted to do. One of the newest recipients of the 2 Michelin stars is Vespertine in Culver City, which is near me in California. The restaurant is housed in a 4-story building designed by the architect Eric Owen Moss that looks like a warped and rusted waffle iron. Now I want waffles. The 14-course menu. 14-course? Sign me up. I want a 14-course meal. It's like all day long. How long is this dinner? The 14-course menu, $395 per person, with the beverage pairings started at $125, are constructed around narratives that are known in full only to the Vespertine chef and creative director, Jordan Kahn. When I hear the word narrative in correlation with a restaurant, I'm already cringing. The owner and his wife partook in a sacred temazcal ceremony in Mexico. It includes a dish called the obsidian mirror, which is used of gel made of smoked mussels to create a disc-shaped, fully edible black mirror. That sounds creepy. That sounds like a show on Netflix. So basically, this guy wanted to play music and figure out a soundtrack. And he said he was in the garden of the restaurant preparing his latest innovation for a dining room soundtrack. He was recording the sound of his plants. I wasn't aware that plants made noise. Now, I know there's physical sound from the wind, maybe sort of with the petals and the leaves and stalks knocking against each other, but is that sound for a restaurant or a soundtrack for a horror movie? In our restaurant, it's so unique and specific, we couldn't play existing music because it would just seem alien. No, it wouldn't. You know what would seem alien? Me listening to plants and not realizing plants made sound. The only thing missing from this restaurant are edibles, because this sounds like a place you go to eat weed food. You're sitting there and you're like, man, do you hear? Is that bamboo saying something? So it says here, Khan came up with a concept album for the restaurant. He recruited the frontman of an Icelandic avant-garde rock group, Sigur Rós. I actually love that group. I don't know if anyone's listened to them. Their music's amazing. Very unique music. And we were talking about Iceland before. Full circle. How about that? The frontman of the Icelandic avant-garde group, Sigur Rós. I'm probably saying it wrong. Paul Corley, a composer who produces the band, and C.J. Barron, a songwriter and producer, works with Carly Rae Jepsen. Oh, wow. I can't even think of a song she wrote. Not hating. I just would think, like, you know, if you're going to mention somebody, make it like, I don't know, Diana Ross. But Carly Rae Jepsen, she's doing her thing. Let's not hate. So he waited for a trio to arrive. He walked past a shallow pond within a bed of geometric concrete shapes. The pond is, in fact, a tidal pool. It raises and lowers with the Pacific. God, isn't it too much for food? Isn't this already too much, you guys? I don't care if your pond raises or lowers with the Pacific. Do you have fresh bread and good olive oil? That's actually olive oil without any fillers in it. The idea I have, and I'll see what the boys think, is to build a forest of this. And he's talking about shoulder-high reed that looks like a cross between asparagus and bamboo, which would be the night's featured musician. So I wasn't far off. The bamboo is the band that's going to create the soundtrack for this restaurant. Is anybody else here listening to this and think it's cringy? We started creating a percussive track with all the sounds. I see a very sculptural thing in the garden, very naturey, Bergeson said, sipping wine. So they're sitting here looking for things to shake in the garden. By the way, garden is naturey. I'm concerned. There wasn't a better word. I'm not saying that the words don't always come to my brain quickly either. But yeah, nature tends to be naturey, bro. You want it to feel cozy, Corley said. Maybe having some of the reeds on their own with a bit of reverb, like a flutter or swell. And then maybe people looking over and seeing them. Maybe that's a cool thing. I think it's terrifying. So you mean to tell me you're going to record the reeds knocking into each other, but they're also going to be there? But you used them before to record them to make the soundtrack? Why don't you just let them... Why don't you just let them do their thing? It sounds like unnecessary music that isn't music. So you're going to have the reeds there, but you're also going to have the reeds soundtrack playing? Now we know the reeds are going to start thinking they're hot shit. Like, yeah, I know, guys, this is me. Do you hear me? Yep, this is me on the speaker. There's a ton of random sounds you would never even know were there, stretched and put through a million effects. Trees groaning in the wind, underwater ambiance off the coast of Iceland, Indonesia, and Los Angeles. Just make your food good, man. This sounds like overcompensation for crappy food. Corey hiked up the Icelandic glacier called Vatnajökull to record a crevice. This guy recorded a crevice. People are starving. Is this why it's taken forever for my food to come out? Is this why there's a 14-course meal because you need time to go record a crevice? I don't want to hear what a crevice sounds like. According to my boyfriend, my crevice makes too much noise on my birthday. A bird began to chirp. That's the sound. That's what we need. Well, then put a bird in the restaurant. Put a bird in the freaking restaurant. We don't have time for this. Gosh. For a final crescendo, the fourth gathered around one patch. Bergeson and Kahn shook the reeds as Brian recorded. The dry bristling was almost metallic. The sound continued for several seconds in the warm Southern California night. Then a rumble overheard and interrupted the moment. It's a fucking plane in the sky. He shouted, "Damn it." "No," Corley said, listening through his headphones. "I think it's really good, actually." Why don't you guys stop wasting your time? Go make your album in Iceland. Let the chef actually make food. And the sounds that you're recording that are already there, hey, let them be there. You don't need to waste your time making some crappy album. Is it available on Spotify? Because I want to listen to it. I might need to go to this restaurant just to see what it sounds like. It's here. It's not too far from me. Vespertine. I'm going to go to Poltergeist and Vespertine. See what's up. Well, speaking of restaurants, on my birthday, we went out. Well, not on my birthday, a couple days after I found out that I wasn't contagious anymore. A little delayed. Like I said, I'm late to everything. I went out and we went to this place that I've been dying to go to. Okay, it's a special place. It's a very special restaurant and it's expensive, so it's not a place you'd frequent because of how much it is. It's a really beautiful, unique restaurant. It has a beautiful garden that has all these tea lights and candle lights, and it's just beautifully lit. It looks like a magical garden, really. You step in and it's a garden that's inside the restaurant, but their roof is retractable, so it feels like you're outside. And then beyond that, they have a dining area. It's just a really unique, beautiful place. And I had been there twice by myself. And I thought the next time I go, I want it to be a special occasion. And so I was just annoying my man about it, annoying him about it. And he surprised me and had booked it for my birthday for him and I to go. And, I dressed up. I got a cute little dress on. I still was feeling like crap. I had a rash from whatever's been going on with my body. I wasn't 100%, but I wanted to go because he put so much effort into this. We sit down. The sommelier comes over, and the sommelier is so nice and so informative, but he had already had a bottle ready. My sister had called ahead and ordered a bottle of Brunello, which I really love Brunello. It's a wine with a lot of character, and it's a, pretty strong-bodied wine. Delicious. If you're Italian, you're eating some heavy food, it's a great wine to have with anything. Steak, pasta, it's so delicious. So we had this beautiful bottle of wine. We order some appetizers, and we're having a great time, and it's romantic, and I'm not hacking completely. So if we were feeling good, we're having a great time. We had burrata. Fucking love burrata. Just a ball of cheese. I had mussels. My man doesn't eat seafood, and he normally doesn't like the smell of seafood. So I felt like I need to have some seafood for my birthday. He was like, it's okay, go ahead. And then we ordered a filet. Am I making you hungry yet? We had delicious filet with a side of mushrooms, sauteed spinach, and mashed potatoes, I think it was, or Yukon potatoes. So delicious. We had baby broccoli. It's a full, delicious meal. And it's been a while. I haven't had any appetite for 2 weeks since I've been sick. So this is like the first full dinner I had since I'd been sick. And we just are about done. We take our last bites. My man leans back in his chair and he just kind of looks out the door into the garden. He's like, well, what's that? And I see him kind of perk up in his seat and squint his eyes and get a little bit better of a look. He's like, what is that? There's something over there. And I kind of peek around to look where he's looking, and he goes, oh my God. And I'm like, oh my God, a rat. There was a rat inside the restaurant. Not only was there a rat inside the restaurant, there was a rat trap. And if there's a rat trap, the restaurant knows it's got a rat problem. Okay? It's right out there. It's visible. I don't want to look at a rat trap, especially when I'm spending the amount of money that my boyfriend's spending for dinner, especially when I've already eaten here twice. And him and I are like, oh my God, there's a rat. This whole evening's been so amazing. Only us. There's a freaking rat here. I'm like, no, there's not a rat at my birthday. And the waiter comes over and he's like, can I interest you guys in dessert? And I go, sir. And my man's like, sir, there's a rat. And as we say it, in this world, in this modern society, you feel like you're so fortunate because of all of the modern technologies and sanitary water, access to clean water, access to all types of food. We're so fortunate. It almost feels ridiculous to make a complaint about a rat, but the rat is misplaced in our world. Truly is. Our world's meant to be clean over here. This is what we're expecting. Our expectations, especially at a restaurant where you're spending this much money, is that there's not going to be a rat. And the waiter wasn't even surprised. The waiter's like, oh, really? Oh, and he goes, oh, he's a little guy. Don't diminish my experience. Don't you dare. It's my birthday. And you're lucky I'm not one of these girls that celebrates their birthday for a month. I'm about to because I've been sick, so I got some time to recoup and make up for it. But don't. I don't care if the rat's a baby, sir. It's here. And it's worse if it's small because that means it was just born. Where's its family? Because I know these fuckers procreate. There's a lot of them. They're like the freaking gremlins. Don't feed them or get them wet after midnight. Well, it looks like you guys are just feeding them all day. So he didn't really care. He wasn't really shocked. It really was a bummer. And he asked if you wanted dessert for the table. And I said, honestly, I'm kind of disgusted by the rat. I thought that would do something. I thought that would spark a little momentum in this waiter to fix a problem or attempt to fix it. He leaves and he comes back and he's like, you know what? I'm going to do something for you guys. And I thought, okay, well, maybe they'll give us, I was expecting something off of the bill or maybe taking care of the meal. Am I crazy to think this? Anybody listening? At such an expensive restaurant to have the desire to have him do something financially for us. He goes, follow me. I'm going to take you guys up to our private area. So he takes us up to this private area and sets up a little table for us. There's nobody else up there. Sets up a candle, brings up a birthday dessert for me, a glass of Moscato and a glass of port. Look, that's great. I think that's wonderful. And it was a gesture. But I don't know that I want more food from the place where there's rats. I don't know. And we were debating whether we should call this place or not. And I still am debating. And my man found a review for the place. And I'm going to read it for you. Came here for the New Year's Eve dinner. Place was nice. Ambiance was good too. Came dressed appropriately, but saw a few guys in their jeans and shirt. I saw that as well. Come on, guys. If we're going to a nice restaurant, dress up. Put a little effort in. The food was okay. This is where I kind of disagree because I love the food. But we're going to listen to the rest of the review and you'll know why. We had a prefix meal for aperitifs. No one explained what they served. We each tried and it was so. I ordered lobster bisque for an appetizer. It was okay. It didn't come with any bread, so we had to request bread for a basket, which they gladly served quickly. Yeah, it's LA, girl. They're not going to be trying to give bread. Main course was good. We ordered the filet mignon, nothing out of the ordinary, but cooked very well. Desserts were amazing. I don't even know if it's a girl. Kind of sounds like a guy. A male review. Good portion, even good to share. Everything went well until the very end. We were about to pay and noticed that some waiters were staring at a big fat rat next to our table. They were trying to keep it down and waiting for the rat to move. I couldn't help but to feel very disgusted how big it was and how it crawled back behind our table. I still have the icky feeling. Okay, it's a girl. Until now, and just thinking about it. What if it was already there while we were eating? And the waiters and managers approached, and me and my boyfriend, yes, okay, or it's a gay guy, I don't know. Why am I so obsessed with the gender of this review? They came to apologize, offered us free drinks and discounts on our next dinner. They were very nice and really sorry about it, but it really turned me and my boyfriend off. Hopefully this issue got solved. The place was really cute and romantic, but not coming back because of the rat. They got something off of their meal. Our discount for their next dinner. We don't know if we want to come back. I didn't even get that. And I came to the conclusion, and my man did as well, that we were too nice. Sometimes it's okay to put up a little bit of a fight. We were too nice. And that's one of those traits that I got from my parents that we were talking about it, about being kind. And it's something I don't want to change. I really don't want to change my kindness. But maybe in this situation, it's okay to exercise being a little bit more tough for the sake of your own sanity and sanitariness. For my sanitary and my sanity, maybe I should have kicked it up a notch, but I didn't. We didn't. We decided to let it go. And sometimes you just have to let things go. You have to let it go. You have to let your birthday go out with a bang. Mine went out with a rat and a bang. But I decided that I wasn't going to let this little ratatouille ruin my birthday night. My man made such an effort, and it also made me think of all the limited time we have, and these moments are so special, and you really do have a choice. You have a choice to make. Am I going to complain about the rat, or am I going to eat this free dessert, drink this cute little Moscato in this VIP area, and have a nice ending to an otherwise semi-disturbing meal. So I decided to go that way. But I can't say that I'm definitely not going to call them. They might get a call from me, just a phone call, to let them know how much I was looking forward to this. I only have a limited amount of time on this earth. My man's got limited money, and we decided to spend it at this place. So maybe they need to know how I feel. And I can be kind doing that as well. And I have no expectations of what they're going to give me and what they're not going to give me. I'm going to go in with zero expectations, with a little bit of kindness, but also speaking my mind and letting them know that I didn't really appreciate the emotional support rat. And I'm an animal lover. So figure it out. Figure out what you're going to do. Get rid of the rat traps. Nobody wants to see those while they're dining. And I just honestly feel like each little moment we have is so freaking precious. And here's this furry little bastard enjoying my crumbs. Now I'm mad again. I'm going to call him right after this podcast just to get it over with. What's one of those traits I denied? Patience? Yeah. Okay. I've lost my patience. I'm going to check out the Vespertine restaurant. I'm going to check out Poltergeist restaurant. Thank you guys for all your birthday wishes. And shout out to the fan who sent me a message about his father. And I hope that journey that you're on with dementia is, although I know it's very challenging, I hope that you're able to find some tricks that work for you, because there are a lot of tricks to make it a little bit more endurable. Is that a word? No, I feel like endurable is not a word. I hope you're able to find some ways to endure and help you go through that process and know that, yes, it's stressful and challenging, but there are ways to make it fun. You can make it a little bit more fun. Hey, get a rat. See what happens. Get a rat for your dad's lap. That should be fun. Thank you guys so much.